All right. All right. Welcome, everybody. Listening to some great music here by Mr. AJ Fructuoso. We're going to get into this right now. My name is Dan Hughley, U.S. Marketing Manager for Focusrite, and we're bringing you a really fun live stream here today. If we can go ahead and stop listening to this, even though I want to listen to it all day.
All right, doing that right
Cool.
now.
Thanks, man. AJ, great stuff, man. And AJ is a member of the U.S. tech support team, customer support team. And I got to say, he's a super talented individual, plays multi-instruments, as well as he's a producer, engineer. And that music that we just heard, that's some of AJ's music. So AJ, welcome. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself. How long have you been performing? What instruments do you play? And what have you been doing in your spare time lately?
My spare time has been full of just making music, and I don't know, it's just building up in a folder. But like, I don't know, my spare time is kind of like watching Breaking Bad. I just go on Netflix.
Nice.
I try to walk away. I have like my little cubicle set up right here, so I just want to walk away from it as much as I can sometimes.
Is this the first time watching Breaking Bad, or is this a rewatch for you?
Oh, it's first time.
Nice. Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
I never watched it all the way through, and I just started that show Ozark. So yeah, a lot of good shows out there. But how long have you been playing, and what instruments do you play?
I've been playing instruments since I was in fifth grade. What does that put me at?
I don't know.
Put me
You're
at
pretty
8 years old. But yeah, I started on clarinet, and then I was in band. I went through a lot of different instruments. I went through bass clarinet, and then I joined marching band my freshman year, and I started playing upright marching baritone.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I went through the entire field corps thing, football, like pet band every Friday. We were very involved. We won championships, and I was a band nerd that was, I was like pretty confident in like my horn playing. Started playing guitar, and like I think if you know that song "Hey There Delilah," I sang that for like the whole school. And after that point, I was thinking like, dang, I can have like a musical identity away from band.
Yeah.
And that's what really pushed me into this whole thing. Started learning piano because I always loved singing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be able to play something at the same time. So that's how that worked out.
When I have to say, when people are introduced at the company, there's always an email that goes around saying how talented they are, but I didn't know the depth of your talent. And I'm just going to tell a quick story. We were at the NAMM show in January here in Anaheim, and it was so cool. Our booth was next to Nord Pianos, and I heard this beautiful piano playing coming, and I was like, oh, cool. Someone must have one of the pianos on demo mode. And I walked over there, and here's AJ just playing this beautiful piece of classical music flawlessly. And I didn't want to interrupt him, but I think he noticed me watching, and he turns around and is like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I just made so many mistakes. And it just blew my mind, AJ, how talented you are at piano, and then to find out you're a trombone player, clarinet player, baritone player, and also a fantastic producer, making great music yourself.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, happy to get into this. Let's get started. But before we do, let's go over what we're going to talk about. So we're going to cover 5 basic topics today. The reasons to record yourself and the benefits. You might be thinking, why do I need to record my band instruments? My band and orchestra instruments. Why do I need to do that? We're going to cover the proper environment for getting the best sound. We're going to cover some traditional, non-traditional environments. Some of the hardware that you're going to use, audio interfaces, microphones, headphones, speakers, things like that. The software that you can use, some options that we have for you. And then we're going to set it all up, and AJ is going to play a couple things for you just to demonstrate all of the things that we're going to cover. So you ready to get started, AJ?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Let's just talk a little bit about the reasons that a person might want to record themselves and the benefits. when you were getting started, what were your biggest problems and hurdles that you had to face? Did you have trouble with timing, not knowing exactly what notes you were hitting, or chord progressions, things like that? Did you ever have any of that trouble?
Yeah, definitely. It takes a lot of discipline. You have to play over and over and over. And not only that, a larger obstacle is witnessing yourself play.
Right.
Like, my parents always brought video cameras and you just watch yourself. It's kind of like, I hate it. But and even to this day, you're very critical on yourself, but you have to be in that mode. You always have to be critical on yourself
Yep.
and just like the more you do it, the more comfortable you are with your own abilities
Yeah.
and the better you'll become.
And hearing yourself back, you're like, okay, my timing was off here. I'm playing a quarter note when it's supposed to be an eighth note or something like that. I know personally,
Yeah.
I almost feel embarrassed to say because I know your ability, but I was a piano player for a short time, and I used to have like a little digital recorder that I would play my practices. I have my click track being recorded, as well as the sound from my piano, and I'd get done playing a piece. I'm like, man, that was really great. But then I would listen back and be
Yeah.
like, no, that was actually kind of a train wreck. But that helped me, that just like you said, you don't hear yourself while you're playing. You only hear it afterwards when you play it back.
Yeah,
So I think that's super
exactly.
important for people to learn that benefit itself. That's one of the biggest ones. Another
Right.
one, we all like to brag, right? Like I know when I was learning piano again, I recorded some happy birthday and sent that to my nephew. And I was super proud of myself. I mean, happy birthday is like the easiest thing in the world, right? Like, do you ever send
Yeah.
any of your tracks to your friends and family, AJ?
Oh yeah, do it all the time. Like, you are where you are let's see. I can't think of a good word to put it, but like you're working for them. You're like a human
You're trying to
and
make
a
them proud, right?
musician. Yeah, you're trying to make your family proud. You're trying to like share your music with the world, have them connect with that. So of course you got to share it with them.
Yeah, and now a lot of people are out of school, unfortunately, in the unfortunate situation that we're in. But just because you're out of school, if you're not practicing your instrument, you're not doing well. Just like myself, I haven't played piano in a couple of years, and I've forgotten more than I ever learned. So just keep that in mind, and when next school year comes or the next time you're allowed back in school, your instructors are going to want to see progress. They don't want to see you go backwards. So,
Yeah.
I would record your practices and maybe even send it to your instructors. And we're going to help you with that. Help you email it, email files, get them out to your instructors so so they can tell you, so they can give you hints and tips and tricks. I know, again, going back to my history, and I'm painting myself as a terrible musician, which is probably true. I'm a much better engineer than I am a musician. But when
There
I
you
was
go.
I went to music school, and I practiced this piece of music, and because I didn't record myself during this particular record practice session, I was hitting the wrong chord progression, and the teacher, he's like, "All right, man, you played that, you played it timing wise, great, but you were a half step off on that entire run that you just did there." And it's like, okay, yeah, if I would have recorded myself, I definitely would have heard that, but. And then let's not forget the
Right.
creative aspects. There's
Oh yeah,
always
totally.
creative aspects to it. Like, you know, horns are in bands. You
Yeah,
have a trombone, baritone, any instrument belongs in any type of band. You can be creative.
right. Yeah, to the ability to record yourself is like having a notepad if you're a
Right.
writer. I was watching a live stream of James Blake yesterday, and he was just talking about like a lot of times during the day, he just has to leave his family, go to his studio, and be like, "All right, hold on." They at this point they understand,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
yeah,
And, and
it's yeah.
yeah, so your own band, but then your own productions. AJ, the piece that you were playing, that was all you, right? The piece you were playing when we started out.
Yeah, actually, is me and three other guys. We all share the music together. I have my own productions. I have them separate, but that's Moon Ensemble. I
Mhm.
play keys, synths, and I sing. All four of us sing. 2 years ago during the summer, we played in China for a month and a
Oh
half.
wow,
Yeah, that was intense. It's like
super
just to be that far away from home and like just doing your own thing, man, playing
man. That's
music.
that's really cool. I had no idea. See, look at these things we're learning about. I'm learning about you here. That's amazing. Um, well, let's get into some of the different aspects that we're going to cover here, like the environment. Like right now, we're all at home. I know I'm. I might look like I'm sitting in front of a beautiful Focusrite studio console, but because of the beauty of the platform that I'm using, I have a virtual background. If you could see what was really behind me, it'd be quite scary. But AJ, it looks like you're in your home there. Looks
Yeah.
home office. It looks like you're very comfortable.
Yes.
What are the positives and negatives of that environment that you're in, particularly to the recording process?
Oh, having everything in front of me is like the best.
Yeah.
And, I have my books right here. I have my computer right here. It's basically like I kind of don't have a reason to leave this spot other than, just to stay sane.
Yeah.
Everything I need is right here. I'll work right here. I'll make music right here. Like, I don't have to leave and like set other things up just to record a song.
Yeah.
Especially with my horn, all I need is the microphone. I have like two set up right here, especially for today to demonstrate.
Very cool.
And yeah, it's like having a notebook in front of you, just as I said.
Some of the traditional environments for recording, you don't want a whole lot of flat surfaces. I know in my room here, I've kind of avoided that. You can't really see that in this room, but I have some absorption panels on the wall.
Mm,
And all I do is mix. So I'm basically treating the room so I don't have a whole lot of reflective surfaces. And in an ideal world, that's what you're going for. You don't want a whole lot of flat reflective surfaces, hardwood floors, bare walls, for traditional
yeah.
environments, right? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
my environment kind of like goes all the way down that list. Like, oh, wrong, wrong. I need some padding right here.
Yeah.
But like you gotta still do what you're gonna do.
You've got to, and you make the best of what you do have. But then there's some non-traditional places as well. Like I know, I recorded in this very room that I'm in, which is basically a bedroom that I've turned into an office. I recorded a band's full album here, minus the drums. I programmed all the drums for them, but I recorded vocals, bass, guitar, several different guitars in this very room. And I tried a bunch of different places to get different reverbs and different sounds. And,
Mm.
one of the things is I mic'd up the amplifier in my closet, just put like a moving blanket over the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
That came out
Yep.
great. But then for another effect, I put the amp in the bathroom. And in the
Oh,
bathroom,
sick.
well, because that's all kinds of reverb, like really fast reverb. It's a small room,
Right.
all kinds of reflective surfaces. So you're going to get a very different sound. Same thing if you're playing a horn, and we ended up recording the vocal in the bathroom as well. Of course, we made it a little nicer, put some candles in there, made sure it was
Oh
nice and
yeah.
clean and everything,
Yeah.
obviously. But,
Yeah.
it's just a good example of another place you could do it. But like, when you're trying to be creative, there's a lot of different places that you can go. Like outside, go outside. You're going to get almost no reverb because think of it, there's no flat surfaces for the sound to bounce off of.
Right.
Um,
It's a
so
different environment. You'll have different character to the sound.
exactly, yeah,
It's like a
and it,
matter of
go ahead.
go ahead. Oh,
Oh,
matter of perspective. Like as if you're there, oh, this sounds like it's outside. And that comes to an advantage in certain recording situations,
sure,
certain songs, just to express your creativity.
yeah, just trying different things. That's all it is. But
Exactly.
let's get into the hardware that you're using. So, what
Okay.
what interface do you have, and tell us a little bit more about that.
So glad you asked me that because I'm using my favorite interface. Super portable, super portable. I use the 2i2, the
Mhm.
third generation. It's like you don't have to plug it in to a wall socket. You just plug it into your
Yeah.
computer. You got a laptop. That's your power source.
Yep.
Record anywhere. If you're trying to record outside, that's the way to go.
Yeah, and
And
I have to
right
say
now,
I'm talking to you right now through a Scarlett 2i2 as well. But you also have the studio
exactly.
bundle, which comes with the mic and the headphones. Um,
Yeah.
which
If you if you didn't notice, I was reaching for the box right now.
oh, there he is.
But like, yes. So
There it is.
and it's you have the headphones, you have the interface, the microphone, and a mic cable. It's all you need. I have it set up right here. If
Yep.
you can see on this mic,
Yep.
you can actually probably hear it maybe. Can you hear that?
There it is. I heard it. Yeah.
And
Um,
I have the 2i2 further on my desk. It's exactly what I need.
yeah. For live stream purposes, we can't really move the camera too much. We're all using webcams these days. So let's talk about the microphone, the condenser microphone. It's a really good mic that comes with the 2i2 Studio.
Mm.
How does that sound? Let's talk about the difference between dynamic and condenser mics. What
Okay.
is your experience with a condenser mic? What do you know, Or I'm not. What
So
do you know? You know a lot.
condenser mic is much more sensitive
Yeah.
and it picks up a lot more of the ambience of the room better. It
Yeah.
actually picks up the higher frequencies,
Hmm.
more of the air pressure,
A
and
little.
it's much clearer.
It's
See
it.
this
Yeah.
microphone right here, this is a dynamic microphone.
Hmm.
You can use it with in live applications,
Yeah.
but it's a lot more boomy. Like if you can definitely hear the difference if I were to plug it in. I mean, this
Yeah.
microphone right here too. Um,
Yeah. Also a
it's
condenser. Strangely enough.
right, right, right. I feel that this Scarlett mic is, it's exactly it's more, what's the word?
Maybe nuanced.
Nuanced. Yeah, you can hear much more subtle
Yeah.
sonic qualities of the room. It's much more accurate.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. It's a, for what I'm doing, I'm only talking to you. So a dynamic mic is really great for that because you're not hearing all the noise outside of my apartment. You're just hearing
Oh
myself,
yeah.
hopefully. Luckily, there's not a whole lot of noise out there right now, but cool. What other mics have you used? You know, like the dynamics are great. You said for being on the road or
hmm
for live gigs.
hmm
The SM7B
hmm
is a good one for recording horns.
Oh yeah. That
Maybe
was a good one.
yeah, any of the Shure mics are good dynamic mics for that type of thing. The SM58, 57, good mics for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah, a good friend of mine told me that the SM7B was like character, like LA sound, the podcast sound. You can record vocals,
It
all that
is.
stuff.
It's a
But like
really.
my favorite microphone, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Go ahead. What's your favorite?
Maybe my favorite microphone is the one I'm using right now.
Very cool.
Um, Other than the Scarlett, I have my Aston Spirit microphone.
Very
It's
nice.
the condenser mic. It has an omni pattern, a figure
Oh,
eight,
yeah.
and a cardioid. That's very useful in certain situations. If any of you listening out there go forward into recording like audio production courses, you'll find out certain techniques with a figure eight microphone, like
Yeah.
MS
Yeah. Very
side
cool.
miking.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Like especially if you have like a group, the omnidirectional pattern allows you, no matter where you are around the microphone, it'll be the same type of sound. So if the microphone's right here and I'm right here, it would sound the same as long as I'm the same distance away from the mic.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody out there is familiar.
Yeah.
If you have like 4 or 5 different horn players in one room, you can just place them with the original, like, how to originally mix a band together with
Yeah.
one mic.
One mic. Yeah. I actually got to do that. And we have a Focusrite Pro video on that on recording a band called Catalyst. It was a 10-piece band, and yeah, a couple of those guys
Oh,
shared mics. That was a
right.
great video. You know, if you're doing any YouTube diving, check that out. It's on the Focusrite Pro YouTube channel. But let's move on a little bit to the software that you're using. So with that Scarlett Studio bundle that you have, not only do you get the mic and the headphones. Totally sounds sales pitchy here. I'm in marketing. What do you expect? But you get a
Yeah.
couple of pieces of free software. Pro Tools first with the Focusrite Creative Pack has a bunch of really cool creative tools that come with it. And in a moment, AJ is going to use Pro Tools first. He's going to show you how to set up a track by sharing his screen. But you also get Ableton Live Lite, so you have two different pieces of recording software that come with it, along with a bunch of other great plugins. And of course, you get into the plugin collective, which gives you every other month you get a really cool creative tool and plugin. So AJ, do you want to share your screen and kind of walk us through how you just kind of the basics of setting up a Pro Tools track?
Sure, Dan.
Awesome.
Let me do this for you right now. All
There we
right.
go.
So can you see me going? All right. So right here we have Pro Tools first. Comes free.
Yep.
Is everything all right?
One moment.
Okay.
No, you want to go ahead and go back. It looks like we had a little bit of an issue there.
Okay.
Yeah, unshare your screen.
How am I? Can you see me, the camera?
Something's happened here. Having some technical difficulties, aren't we? Look at that.
Oh boy.
Oh, let me see one more. There we go. I got us back. It looks like we had a little bit of technical difficulty with the screen sharing, so we'll skip over that.
Oh boy.
Looks like I shared my schedule a little bit there. Sorry, guys. Um, it worked it worked when we tested it, and I could see your screen, AJ, but for some reason it wasn't going out over YouTube. So sorry, everybody. A little
Oh,
embarrassing.
okay.
um, but anyways, do you want to talk through what you do? Just maybe just use explain the things that you're doing to get the track set up.
Yeah. So when you open up Pro Tools, there's a lot of, there's template sets. When you download it for the first time, you'll see like it'll give you some examples like preloaded audio,
Mm-hmm.
depending. But what you want to do is, get a blank slate and create an audio track, create a master track. What you'll do is there's menus on the top,
Mm-hmm.
and what you'll select is like create a track. I wish I could show you. It's
Yeah.
okay. So you'll go to track and you'll select new, and you'll have options to create instrument track, which is MIDI, an audio track for all you horn players or vocalists or anybody using a microphone. You'll create an audio track. You'll create that. Make sure there's depending on which interface you're using, you'll have a way to set it up in Pro Tools, and for that, you just choose the right input that you're plugged into. So, for example, if I show you my interface, I guess. So, if you're unfamiliar with the 2i2, this will be your first input and your second input.
Yep.
That'll reflect in Pro Tools. So,
Yeah.
let's say I have my Scarlett mic plugged in and
Yes.
I want to record off this mic and I'm getting audio and everything is good.
Yep.
But what if I have a mic plugged into input two?
Yep.
You have to change that because I think it'll default to the first input
Yep.
once you open it. And a lot of people reach out over the tech support line and they're like, hey, I can't get audio from my mic. What's going on? My interface is broken. And I'm like, which input is it plugged into? They're like, the one on the right. It's like, okay, are you reading from the second input? And they won't understand what's going on. So it's really important that you set up your track the right way. For
Good.
example, like right now, I have like two microphones set up recording at the same time. You can do that in Pro Tools.
Yep.
All you'd have to do is record on both of them.
Yep. You just
And
the little R there. You click that and it turns red, and then both of them are armed, and then you just hit record.
yeah,
Or
and the beauty, oh,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
the beauty of using a DAW and recording audio into is the fact that you can load other audio samples.
Well,
You can load an entire song and play on top of it. I, you know, I believe that you have a solo song. If you have a solo horn and you want to record that, all you need is one track. But say you are more comfortable playing on top of something and you're more creative that way, you can load anything you want into the project. I wish I could show you.
you know what?
uh,
Um, You know what
it's okay.
though? There's plenty of support videos out there
Mm-hmm.
that do go through this, and I know that we do create those. And the beauty of the Scarlett Third Gen is when you plug it in, it asks you what you're going to be doing, and it prompts you and gives you the videos to show you how to operate the software that we are giving you for free,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of a bonus. So
Mm-hmm.
that means
Maybe,
go ahead.
yeah. Maybe I could talk about more about my technique and like my procedure when finally recording the horn outside of the program since I
Sure.
can't share my screen.
Yeah. Do you want to just do some recording and let us hear it?
Sure.
All right, let's do that. Let's check it out with but first, let's talk about your posture when you're recording. How do you like to sit?
So definitely, posture is more of a universal type of get in the habit of having a better posture because all of your airflow from your lungs all the way up to your horn to the mouthpiece
Yep.
needs to be as straight as possible. If you're like constricting it, it's all about your muscles and like just how proper, like how continuous and how controlled your airflow can be. And that's best if you have, good posture. A lot of times, you could sit down and play,
Mm-hmm.
like obviously, and it's I would say that sitting up with a good posture while you're recording is best. You know, sitting up with good posture is just good
In
procedure
general, that's
with
something
anything.
I struggle
Yeah.
with. But so the distance to the mic and the positioning, the closer you are to the mic, the more detailed, the louder it's going to be. Obviously, you're going to get less room
Right.
noise or
Yeah.
reverb. Or if you're sitting back farther, you will get more of that
Mhm.
room noise just because of the proximity effect.
Right. So what I can do, I can pull this camera off my mount and I can
Sure,
show you the placement of the two microphones that I have going right
sure.
now.
Let's check it out.
All right, cool. What's up?
Hey,
Now this, all right, let me see if I can see my own screen. Okay,
I can see you.
cool. So this is basically my point of view, and I have my
Uh,
Scarlett
Move to the right just a bit,
a little bit right here.
a little more.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah, we're
see,
getting.
this
There
is
you
my
go.
rig, and there's my screen, and there's, this infinity effect. Anyways,
Very cool.
I have my microphone right here, and
Yep.
I'm pointing my horn. Basically, depending on where my horn is pointing, that'll give me different sound quality as far as timbre is
Yep.
concerned. Like if I point directly at it, I'll get really, really present, like a lot of presence, a lot of highs. If I go off axis, if I point my horn like right here, then it will be much warmer. There's actually an obvious difference. What I like to do is kind of like when I warm up, I kind of like go like this slowly, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll definitely notice the difference. And as far as distance, if you see over here, that's my Aston microphone right there.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'd like to do is record from two different perspectives at the same time. So I'll have my Scarlett right here and I'll have the Aston, and I'm pointing my horn somewhere right here.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And yeah, so like depending on where I'm pointing my horn,
Yep.
it'll produce a different timbre.
Yep.
And
And you can blend the two in your
timbre,
mix.
exactly.
Yep.
So depending on where it is, you'll get different frequencies present in the recording, and frequency is directly relative to timbre.
Exactly. Yeah.
Back to me.
So back to you, AJ.
Okay.
Thank you. That was really great. I liked how you pointed, and we could had a very first person view of your finger and where you were pointing and what you want to do. But for the in general, when you're just trying to get a straight recording, probably point directly at the center of the mic. Is that what you
Yeah.
would suggest?
Yeah.
When you're being
I would
creative,
definitely. Right, right.
I
And oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you that different timbre comes from different mic placements, and you only know that from all of the experience that you have.
Yeah. Is that a few steps far forward?
No, you're doing great. No, this is awesome.
Okay, cool.
So
Awesome.
the one last thing before we actually hear some awesome music from you, let's just talk about the gain halos. You don't have to show them,
Okay.
but I'm looking down at my Scarlett 2i2 right now. I can see that I'm getting a nice green glow without getting into yellow or orange or red, and that means I'm getting a really good sound. And that's the same with voice, and that's the same with instruments as well, including if you're plugging a guitar straight in. Which I know we had some guitar comments come in the chat here, but hey, we're gonna have a guitar live stream next Tuesday, which is going to be really cool with our
Here we go.
good friend John DiNicola. He's going to join us. But
Yo, John.
let's hear you record without a click track and see what that sounds
Okay.
like. I know everybody wants to actually hear this.
Cool. So I'm gonna record it into Pro Tools.
Yep,
So right now you can probably hear my click. Can you hear that?
I can.
And you have the option of recording with a click,
Let's
without a
try it.
click.
Let's go without
Let's do it
first, and
without.
then hear it back. Got a little ahead of ourselves there. Whoops. Oh,
Yeah, that's
that
another
sounded
section that I wanted to show you guys.
no that sounded
Unrelated.
really good, AJ. That sounded really nice. Do you
Cool.
want to just play the same little piece there with a click track as well?
Sure. Let's start that over. And now, so I'm gonna adjust the tempo when it like comes to certain songs. I guess I'll record a song that's more that should be binded to a tempo. That one is more rubato, more kind of
Yeah.
like on the tempo of the player.
Yep.
I'll play something else for you guys right now.
All right. Cool. Sounds great. Yeah. Let's check that out with a little bit of a click and something a little bit more rhythmic maybe.
Yeah. First, oh yeah, you'll be able to record it with a click, and you could also record with the backing track, which was those drums.
Yeah.
I'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that was horrible. Sorry, guys.
No,
But
that sounded good. That sounded good. I think that was a really good example of playing with a click track, and it was super tight. You were on. You were right on the click there. I could hear the ones on the one, and it sounded really good.
thank you.
Do you want to play something with the drums and get super creative with us?
Yeah, so I'll play that same lick, and it'll be with a drum track. These drum tracks come free with all interfaces. Actually,
Oh, is this one of
this is
the loops that we get?
yeah, this is from the
Oh,
Focusrite drum tracks.
do you want to move your mic over? We couldn't hear you there for a second.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There you go. That's better. Yeah, I always
Cool.
forget that
Sorry.
too when I'm wearing a headset.
Let me
But I
turn
guess
this
you're
up a
gonna have
little
to move
bit.
it again anyway if you're gonna play with some drums. So yeah, let's listen with some drums.
Yeah.
And then we have a
Okay.
really good question in the chat that I want to get to from Mr. Jason
Oh, sick.
Martinez.
All right, cool. Let me just set this up real quick, then we'll get to you, Jason.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
that's
And that was with a one of the drum tracks that comes with the Scarlet, which is really cool because you don't to program all of that using MIDI that would take me forever. But that's really cool that immediately in the box you have something there that you can just play with.
yeah.
Cool. Let's get Jason's question, and we're almost out of time for today. Actually, we've gone over a little bit, but that's going to be all right. And Jason Martinez asks, how do you record concert baritone? And I'm guessing that's something that you'd know
Oh,
about.
yeah.
It's all about
Yeah.
mic placement, right?
Yeah, so euphonium. Yeah, that's upward. That'd be like an upward pointing bell like this,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
So I think what I would like to do is test it from, I would have a microphone. You will need a larger mic stand if you
Yep.
can get, if you can get above yourself and like maybe put it 4 feet away from the bell, pointed upwards. So like if I have my mic in front of my bell like this, try to just
Imagine it
think about it
up.
like
Yeah.
that.
Imagine turning that
Hmm.
whole thing 90 degrees.
Yeah. And there's a lot of other horns like French horn. It's not where the bell is placed that the resonance
Right.
is captured or like particularly important. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like they have their hand on their horn like this.
Mm-hmm.
And with a euphonium, you can test that out too. You can place the microphone in the room, get some ambience.
Yep.
But if you're trying to just directly record your horn, make it above the bell
Yep.
because that's where all the sound is coming through.
Yeah.
It's resonating.
In that same Catalyst video that I was telling you guys about, we actually had a sousaphone player, and that's what we did. He wore a marching band sousaphone, and he played a bass station at the same time. This guy was
Oh
amazing.
my.
It's funny, ironically,
Oh
well, not
my.
ironically, but after this video shoot, he ended up on tour with Beyonce. He played with her at Coachella when she
Oh,
was
that's so
there, and then
cool.
he went on tour with her playing bass.
For that
Shout out to
homecoming tour.
yeah, shout out to
That's
Corbin,
awesome.
Corbin Jones. He's amazing. But what he would do, yeah, he had two mics actually. One of them was a kind of a non-traditional microphone. It was more of a like a lapel mic that you'd use like in a video.
Oh yeah.
He dropped that into the horn. He actually dropped that down there and taped it in place. But then we did,
Awesome.
but then we took a traditional condenser mic and put it out in front of the bell, kind of like you explained. But I played tuba and sousaphone when I was in like fifth grade. And yeah, if you're playing either one, you just want to be outside the bell. Like with French horn, that's not where the sound comes from, so that's a little bit different and kind of a little bit more advanced for this for this video. But we're out of town. So AJ, I want to thank you for all of this, and all of the people in the chat. I want to thank you for joining us, and I want to remind you that next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, you can join me again, where I'll be here with John DiNicola, and he is going to go over some of the basics of recording guitar. We'll cover the gain staging questions and other questions that came about guitar. But beyond that, guys, thank you very much for joining us. And as always, if there's anything we can do, just reach out. Maybe AJ will be taking your call or taking you on the live chat or answering your email. And he's a great tech support rep for us, and very talented as well. So AJ, thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you well, and keep on playing. You're amazing at what you do.
Thank you, Dan. Wish the same to you. Take care.
All right, thank you.